8 hours,
Hey.
40 years.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Ain't no
GoldFace.
telling. Mr. Bad Trip.
GoldFaceMoneyWatch. Hey. Hey. Hey.
Mr. Bad
It's
Trip.
about the brick. That bust it down, serve it hand in hand, turn it to chips. Don't need the ball, no assist. She lick the balls and she swallow the kiss of my bitch.
Came home, mind that shit stack. Wrist back, I'ma go get that. Break it with my hand like a KitKat. Plug call, tryna put me on with the KitKat. Get back.
It's about the brick. That bust it down, serve it hand in hand, turn it to chips. Don't need the ball, no assist. She lick the balls and she swallow the kiss of my bitch.
Came home, mind that shit stack. Wrist back, I'ma go get that. Break it with my hand like a KitKat. Plug call, tryna put me on with the KitKat. Get back. Pop bars, bro, we got 'em by the boat. I don't hit my bitch, but when I fuck her, got her by the throat.
Kelly weed by the boat, everything gotta go. Vacuum seal it twice before we hit the road.
Yeah, jumping out the Uber, counting up racks. I don't want that on like you rats. Backing up grants, just trying to get back. All that talk big facts, nothing like your raps.
Big backwoods, I don't like take gas. Grabbing her ass and she reaching in my pants. Keep a bad young bitch tryna drop me on dance. Free big nigga, free caskets. How you got go fat rapping? I want your bad ass trash shit. I want your bitch, she average. I left the planet more turned up than Marilyn Manson.
That's not a diss, look at my wrist. No bracelet, but the Molly grip glisten. Stick to the bitch, grip on her hip. She play with her nose, she got a drip.
750 a zip. Still fly Spirit Airlines, but first that shit. Fly out to Cali, be back in a week. Shout out my partners for thousands of sheets. I'm GF and dope, I just double my fee. Breaking this about the brick. Then bust it down, serve it hand in hand, turn it to chips. Don't need the ball, no assist. She lick the balls and she swallow the kiss of my bitch.
Came home, mind that shit stack. Wrist back, I'ma go get that. Break it with my hand like a KitKat. Plug call, tryna put me on with the KitKat. Get back.
Breaking this about the brick. Then bust it down, serve it hand in hand, turn it to chips. Don't need the ball, no assist. She lick the balls and she swallow the kiss of my bitch.
Came home, mind that shit stack. Wrist back, I'ma go get that. Break it with my hand like a KitKat. Plug call, tryna put me on with the KitKat. Get back.
My first time tripping, 2 big ass hits at 25. And I didn't know about chemicals, so I just threw the test and like I was sucking on two pennies. As far as everyone goes, I'm walking legs on just
Mr. Bad Trip.
Color Radio, Sad Panda Apparel
Is no more.
is no more, but the new brand is coming soon. But SampleGod.com is what's popping right now. SampleGod.com. You can find all your beats and DJ needs at SampleGod.com. We have King Maul in the building.
Hey, squad.
We have S. Carter, the best engineer in the game.
Welcome,
Hello, S.
welcome.
Carter. And we have the one, the only, a legend in my book, GoldFaceMoneyWatch.
Yeah. What's happening, y'all?
Welcome. This is a very dope, very dope portion of the show. Episode of the show that I would like to say has been
Well
an
overdue.
accomplishment in my book. I think I got the
Wrong fitting for it.
yeah, 'cause I can't really hear out this joint. It's buzzing. I don't know, man. Anyway, Goldface.
Yeah.
Can I call you Goldface? Or is it Mr. Moneywash? Is it Mr. Bad
Mr.
Trip?
Bad Trip.
Is it Mr.
You know
Bad
what?
Trip?
First, can I always ask you a question I always wanted to ask you?
Yeah.
How did you get Goldface Money Watch? Because when I first heard this name and they told me, I was so shocked.
Also, ahead of his time for this new age of littles and little toenail, little this, Goldface Moneywash would stand out regardless in any era, but right now still stands out. So yes, continue on, sir. Tell us the origins.
Man, what you said, the universe, all that. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know. Like, I was like probably like 17, 18, you feel me? And it just like, we was doing a video. It was like I had said it on some songs first, and then it was just weird, man. It was like signs of me finna have that be my name before it was like even really my name. And then like one day it was already my name, and then by the point everybody start calling you it, then it's like, you feel me? The universe pretty much just told you that's your name. You feel me?
Oh, okay. Do you accept your name?
Yeah. Like,
I see that now.
but it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's not what a lot of people think. You feel me? They expect it to have like one meaning behind, you know what I'm saying? They hear that shit if they didn't have an image to me or like my aesthetic or anything. They think it'd be trying to, you know, like, and it's just like, then I give it a whole new meaning. You feel
Don't
me?
judge a
By what
book
I
by its
embody,
cover.
like,
Type. Don't judge a book by its cover type feel.
Or just like
put it
them
in.
words, and words might evoke like one image in your head, but then
Mhm.
once you relate those words to me, like you get a whole different
Facts.
like sense from it.
What is your
with it.
top 5 and your social media name so they can find you, sir?
Shit, my Twitter is @TrippyGoldface. My Instagram, we live right now, is @GoldFaceMoneyWatch. And what you say? What else?
Top 5, sir.
Top 5, just anything.
Top 5, like if you got favorite shoes, if you got favorites TV shows, albums, artists.
Right.
bad-
I feel like it's
top
like
5
five
bad
and all
trips.
that. Top 5 bad trips.
Yeah, you know.
That we'll eat up the whole show on that. Like I'm with it. I'm down. Fucking. Well, shit. Top 5 like artists. Or you want to do a set like you gotta steer me more on that,
Okay,
bro. Or I'm gonna just be
okay,
off
okay.
in the.
Top 5 current artists you're listening to right now. Like, what's giving you, like
best
a muse? Like, who's your muse? Right?
All right. Well, always I gotta shout out my bro Ariel Pink. That's
Okay,
like.
okay.
Not hip.
Oh, okay. He's
Yeah.
like an indie rock legend.
Okay.
Like he's super, like his tapes were circulating through like he had, real lo-fi tapes circulating through the underground like since like the 90s, but
Dope.
then he just also, I don't know, like it's just the deeper I go, the farther out I get in my trips and shit, you know.
Right.
What's it called? Artists I listen to, and then what you said earlier, we could just rather than try to relive it, like tell them what you just said to me when I was showing you that Bad Trip TV shit.
The Bad Trip TV, which is on low number YouTube right now. He's doing a week event, or is it gonna be longer?
Yeah,
than
it's a week-long takeover of
week-long
the low
takeover.
number shit.
Right, and it gave me Space Ghost Perp vibes, which is like very is hard to duplicate because when you see it done wrong, it's like
What is that?
like it's trying hard. Like that gave me authentic. Like this is you. This is like. And I'll tell this story. Me and the homies went to see Space Ghost Perp at the Grog
Oh
Shop.
my God, we should have.
And we left maybe a house full of maybe 15 girls to go see him. Like really, we was really on our space. Like we were all black. We was ready for it.
Yeah.
And we got there, and we weren't hip then. Xavier Wolf came out. It was so many like underground people that are popping now that came out. But when we were really waiting for Space Ghost, and he came out, he didn't even play like a stripper at all. Like a stripper is like the, I don't know, it's his
like
candy
the
shop.
biggest one.
It's his
Yeah,
candy shop. I don't know what you want to call it. And he stayed in the corner. He was very standoffish, and it kind of ruined the allure his music gave me. Like I never looked at him the same.
And that's kind of crazy too, because I think he's always getting his Twitters deleted and shit. I think I found his like current Twitter, and I swear to God, I said to my homie, I was like, "This about to make me stop fucking with him." I just got hip on some. Obviously, I knew that name forever.
Right.
He
I knew
talked
that
too much
name.
shit.
I knew that name forever. You feel me? And everybody knows like the story of how what I'm saying.
Yeah,
He
just
go
the
back,
history
came
of
back with all
Yeah.
that shit. And I knew that he done influenced a lot of shit. You feel me? Obviously, being an underground rapper. You feel me? I know the shit that kind of branches off from, all that shit.
Yeah.
But and not even a lot of that shit ain't really my shit, to be 100%
Right.
honest. A lot of the shit, but son told me the other day, man. I don't even know if I want to like, you feel me? But I was like on a shroom trip, you feel me?
Yeah.
And it
We're gonna
was
talk
like
about that too. We're gonna get into that.
always when I get in
Yeah,
that mental space though, like toward the end, when you start feeling low toward the end of it, you feel me? And I feel like my mind done just reached so many like heights that I want something new, like where to take it and stuff. And so that's kind of why I was telling you I fuck with Ariel Pink. That's what I was talking about, like, because his music will really take you there, even almost into like that darkness, that sadness of that like come down, you feel me? And that's really where I like shared my most intimate moments with his music. And it's crazy because they was actually both label mates at one time on 4AD, like probably circa like 2012, because they're in their own genres, but they're both underground lo-fi legends. You feel me? That have all that also have stories about them. You feel me? just being, you know what I'm saying, being standoffish at a show or doing shit like that. And if people know anything about me or my run before I went to jail, you feel me, these are the type of stories, you know what I'm saying, that bubble and circulate about a person. Like, you feel me, we was doing a show with my band, The Worms, in Nashville, Tennessee, called Zombie Fest. This was like in 2016, I want to say, And we was on our way. We had a show. We had another show at South by Southwest coming up, like a couple of days after that. But we stopped. We was doing a show in Nashville, Tennessee. It was at a nice venue and everything that we had a good relationship with. You know, we always made them money through turned events at that venue. It was really hard for us to. It would be really hard to fuck it up with that venue, but that's exactly what I apparently took upon myself. And literally, like, I remember coming back into consciousness, getting dragged out by the ear, like by the owner and shit, and the fucking and my homie Believe, shout out Believe, just yelling at me like, man, what the fuck? Like, my band, The Worms, it's like, it was a band at that period with my brothers, Believe in front, and then Son Amari, we would alternate on bass and guitar, and then Anthony Jones too. Like, and we was all in a band doing this show, and I said I'm getting off on a tangent, but I'm gonna bring it full circle. Like, we was I was trying to blow the head open really on the band. I didn't like the structure of a normal band, you feel me, at that period, and like, motherfuckers we was partying and shit, but so we long story short, we're drinking, tripping, doing whatever, but the bassist, he had never been away from it was like really his first time out of town being introduced to this lifestyle. He was like something crazy, like 18 at the time, 18, 19.
Shell shock.
You feel me? But so and he was like trying to, I don't mean to put him on blast like this, you feel me? But he was trying to keep up with, you know what I'm saying, his big brother, like, and, so he got, I guess, he met someone at the venue that was like, I got some K, like, and we had been drinking so much whiskey and shit, like, because we was in Tennessee, that it was just something had to pick us back up, you feel me? So, like, honestly, and like, not to like condone it or something, but a different type of drug would have probably saved the night, like, you feel me? But I don't think I thought he thought it might function kind of like a stimulant or something, which some people say, but not at that point drunk we was. So, like, literally, like, I done performed on, like, every type of drug, probably, and I'm not, like,
condoning, but it's your, it's your
just is my reality, it's my life. I'm not
yeah.
talking about right now, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people know I'm sober right now, so it's like... And
we'll get into why you're sober and how that has affected your music and what the betterment of it has affected you and everything too, but it's a cool story.
So we was, you know what I'm saying, we was really lit, but all right, so performing on ketamine, which is a disassociative, like, I had 8 arms, you feel me, and like, and I didn't just have to rap, you feel me, it was a band, you feel me, I had to play guitar. So
did all 8 arms do different
it's
things?
literally like video footage of it. This fool had to come up behind me and play guitar for me. Like, I was laying on stage, my name was on the marquee that night. It said GoldFaceMoneyWatch, like, outside the venue on the marquee, like, motherfuckers wanted to hear me do vocals and shit. I kept walking up to the mic like I was finna do vocals, and I just, like, I would, like, look at it and then, like, walk away from it like a child, like, bored with a toy. Like, I didn't say nothing. And meanwhile, our other homie, Leaner, is fucking doing blood-curdling screams because he could sing his ass off. He could pull it together, but he on the same level doing blood-curdling screams and shit.
I'm not laughing at it, but look, I as a, like, I'll say it, a fan of y'all, like, back when y'all was Thumb Nugget type thing. Like that's what I don't think people know. When we saw the Thumb Nugget, we are in. So, like, if I was at that show, I'm like, yo, this is what, like, this is what we would want. This is Motley Crue. But that's the thing that's so crazy about this era we live in, bro. Is, like, that shit popular right now and it's trendy, like that rock star shit and stuff. But, like, motherfuckers, like, really, like, we do not live in a free era where people really live on the edge like that. A lot of it is like bubblegum cleaned up and marketed to the people, and then it's like on top of it,
Or like people promote drugs, but they promote like shit that's approved by the American government, like pharmaceuticals and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers don't really be out here like it's the fucking 70s. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
peace, love, and happiness.
And so like we was, but that was a darker period where it had ventured into other things. But so what I was saying, like, I do have cult fans regardless of that. It is what you said, people that are a fan of so much of a spectrum of the music I do.
Yeah, they know
that they would be down for that. Like, so there were a couple kids, raging in the front, like turning up, you feel me? But pretty much the venue, we was emptying the venue out at a rapid rate, you feel me? But so this kid comes up to me after the show, you feel me? And he's like, I can't remember. Oh, he tells me, you're the reason I started tripping. You feel me? And I don't know what level I was on, but this is what is told to me. I guess I just and just punched him in the face. So this kid, he like 250 pounds. He come up to me, just pick me up. So obviously all my homies get up and they're like, yo, Goldie's just fried. Like, and he's like, oh, cool. So he's finna be cool. I come back out of nowhere, start blah. And before you know it, like the whole venue, there was like a 7 to 10 person brawl. The police come. 2 of my homies got handcuffed. Luckily, no charges were served or nothing. You feel me? But
it was wild.
And so I come into consciousness after that with like Believe yelling at me like, "Yo, what the fuck you do?" So I say all that to say, you feel me, that them stories definitely exist of like performances that I did not, it was a different thing. Yeah.
Question: When hindsight, when he asked, "Hi, how you doing, Sub God? Welcome to the show." We just said your name out here. When a kid told you that you're the reason, or I don't know, kid like 18, something like that, 16,
probably like
kid,
19, probably
okay.
18, 19.
So he told you that. Was it like in your mind, like a back of your head, like, no, I didn't.
No, that's what I'm saying is I couldn't tell you what my train of thought was because of whatever level I was on.
Right.
You feel me? Maybe that was what my subconscious. No, because I'm glad to be I say it right now. I'm glad to be the reason that people. If anybody tells me that, like, that's what's up.
All of the leaves suddenly turn into tiny little demonic soldiers marching at me one by one.
I'm Mr. Bad Trip. We got pounds, we got zits, they can't handle me. Hey, they say my lifestyle too sick, she catch a package. Yeah, it's my little chick, slutty bad bitch. She keep grabbing at my shit. I take bad trips from Molly Saint, color piss, Marilyn Manson. How she got her lipstick, I sell acid, and I'm famous for that shit. I'm so classic. Ay, I'm a rock star like Nick. They tried to jam me up with 2 books and Molly zips. I didn't panic. Told my mom when I get out, I'm getting rich. I'm not too flashy, but pants and shoes like 20 strips. Hop in the taxi in Tijuana. I told you I take trips. I'm a trendsetter, but that's just how I live. I can send shit to you in a box straight to your crib. I'm aggressive with her. When she tell me that she drippin', I'm respected. And you cannot buy that shit, ayy. Front of city is Cuddy, how about the wick count money? Yeah. When I was gone, that funny, not in a hunt, so they love me, yeah. I really like what she wear, pulling her head by her hair too. Baby in her mouth, cash money, up for 2 days, I'm a zombie, you know they call me Bad Trip. We got pounds, we got zips, they can't handle me. Hey, they say my lifestyle too sick, she catch a package. Yeah, it's my little chick, slutty bad bitch. She keep grabbing at my shit. I take bad trips from Molly Saint, color piss, Marilyn Manson. Ay, how she got her lipstick, the bitch get nasty, and always down to make a video. $E. I go down about that shit. I'm Mr. Bad Trip.
Mr. Bad Trip.
And my higher self, it seemed like some form of God or something higher came down and it grabbed me by my hand in the forest. And when I opened and it told me everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be alright. I'm always with you. I'm always here.
One time I tripped and stayed inside all day watching Black Mirror, and I swear I was in the dark for 7 hours. And after all of that, I felt so empty and just desolate and numb, and I wanted to kill myself really badly. Mr. Bad Trip. After that, I realized you probably shouldn't trip and stay inside in the dark watch a show like that, because if you watch Black Mirror
Like
and you're
I
sober,
have
yourself,
indulged
you're
as like since you've been gone. I've taken my first trips, and I won't say you were the reason, but thoughts of you and like talking to you in the past, like oh yeah, it's conversations that I remember having with you like about it, where I'm like all right, I'm comfortable enough to be acceptable to it and all that. So like when the kid did said, I'm like, was that a reaction of like not feeling guilty about it, but like not being not wanting to be your legacy? But you said, yeah.
Oh, that's
cool.
what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
definitely not.
Yeah.
I don't know what my subconscious was about, but
Right.
maybe I just didn't like his energy. But I
Yeah,
mean, probably not though,
whatever.
because he was raging to the music in the footage I saw the next day. So shout out to him. But
yeah.
no,
That's dope,
no,
though.
that is, I'm trying to be. I don't put in my work so much for that culture, for the psychedelic culture,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And the people that know the stories and really know what I was on and like the
Right.
type of behavior that, my situation could have, but we'll get to all that.
Right.
But no, like I set out, I chose like when I was like 18, 19, like I wanted to be a pioneer. Like I was bored with like the standardly accepted, psychedelic culture at the time, because I bought into that shit for a little while. Like I was down in Tennessee going to school, and that's when I got real hip to. I had eaten shrooms in high school, but that was really when I got into like Grateful Dead, like heavy dosing culture, like
Yeah.
and all the festivals and stuff. And I was idealistic about it for a little second, but then after about a year or two of doing that, I started to trip in those situations and just like feel like there had to be something more, like that peace and love shit. It sounds great and all, but it sounds like a privileged form of it being marketed at these music festivals where the tickets, you know what I'm saying? I worked a job to like go to the music festivals that I would
Right.
go to, but it just seemed like it was a very like corporatized,
Pepsi
form of selling this culture to
These are
people.
not designer drugs.
And it just seemed like a lot of the kids bought into it though. They happily watch, you feel me, all these like bands that are not telling you to think, or you know what I'm saying, they just got the light show, and it's really hypnosis. It's really mass scale hypnosis.
That's
you feel
what
me?
if you want to tell me with anything that like that the DJ culture looks like in the festival culture, that looks like a hypnosis, because they know exactly when the beat's dropping.
So them kids, they
Nothing
could be
but
off.
brainwash.
They could be off more. All right, let me put it like this: like somebody taking a micro dose in a real life situation. You feel me? Just like, they gonna potentially be triggered and have so many more revelations and so many more experiences than a kid that eats 20 hits, like, but just to be brainwashed by a 4 to the floor beat and the DJ and shit. Like, not saying that that's not its own, that it don't have its own value, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of times I would experience like these really like rich bratty kids like that are just like be like, oh, why can't you, you know what I'm saying? What do you think about, like, you feel me?
It's they see the movies, so they ask the questions the movies ask. Like, bro, so like, here's my question. We can talk about that all day. My question to you is, first of all, I have a little thing. What was your before the Worms? What was your like kind of jazzier rock band called? Like Electric Sunshine?
Oh, that shit. Yeah, that's way. Yeah.
What was that called?
So
Was it
Electric Sunshine.
Yes,
yeah.
Electric Sunshine. Okay. Electric Sunshine. I played that what album, EP, I don't know what to call it, but I played that so much for like maybe like 90 days, like just like in my rotation of working out, and just because it was just such a good vibe in it and stuff like that. It was something in the energy. Do you remember what like state of making that you were in?
Hell yeah.
Because that's just some deep cut shit for the people that want to know. Like, that's some deep shit.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like the basis I'm coming from, because that was that point in my life where I still had like a foot in the door of society. I was like 18, 19, and I was going to school for audio engineering, but still I was going to school. You feel me? I still was working a job, washing dishes at Subway. Like, and my heart wanted more, you feel me? But I had been developing, musically. I had recorded Cleveland rappers since fucking I was like 16, you feel me? I was out here. It was times MGK would pick me up from school, you feel me? Like I've been running a studio like, in Cleveland since I was like 15, 16, like, but so the other member of the group of that band, you feel me? He was the singer, and he had dropped out, you feel me, at school and gone on a tour drumming for this, super underground punk rock band. And he had toured the country just kind of living that lifestyle. But whenever he would come back to Tennessee, we would link up and make music because we grew up together and shit.
That's dope.
And,
That's dope as hell.
He was kind of showing me like at that time period was like showing me like the light for real, like what I could have if I just took that leap of faith, you feel me? Right. So, but I was... That, like I said, that was just a more chill version of myself. I hadn't turned into a rock star yet. You feel me? He used to yell at me, like, tell me, like, yo, you got to do more on stage. I just wanted to stand there and play guitar. I was shy for real. Right. But around the same time is when fucking a big blog, back when blogs really mattered, like, you know what I'm saying, had more power than they do now. Like, a big college music blog picked up my rap videos, picked up that spaceship video and Ain't Hearing Shit. It's fire. And
it's classic. If y'all have a chance, like really go back. Is the stuff still up there? Is everything still up?
Ain't Hearing Spaceship.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if y'all got a chance, like definitely go to the Low Number or GoldFaceMoneyWatch YouTube.
Yeah,
all that. Like, cause it's really like it shows a creativeness of young like Cleveland kids, Tennessee kids, whatever you want to call it, and like they were, like it's just it is very in house. It gave you, even back then it gave you an odd future feel, maybe, if you want to call it anything, but it was hard to compare to.
What was crazy is like, you know what I'm saying, even the sound of those beats and shit, like I want people to realize like that shit was in like 2013, you feel me? I really started tapping in that sound in like 2012, like with the dissonant synths and the distorted 808s and shit that's commonly accepted now. But really back then, beats sounded like piano, soul samples, like, people.
It was different. It was different. It was just, everything about it was different.
Yeah.
Y'all even had the...
It was a standard was already set. That's what it was.
And so...
Y'all had... I'll say this. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Okay.
Y'all even had some of the first really high-def videos.
Yeah.
Like,
shout out to Believe. He put our
video.
standard. That age, I got arrested like the day after my 24th birthday. So, and I spent all 24... I got out of jail, I was 25. But so from the time I was... 19 to 24, you feel me? I was in a psychedelic like state of mind, yeah. And so it'd be times like people that trip know like you don't even know who you are, but like I was born out of that. You feel me? Like I had already had my whole first ego death before I even really found myself in music. So when I started tripping, there was no. I mean, when I started doing music and tripping in these situations, like that part wasn't weird to me. I didn't question like, who am I? You feel me? I questioned who am I at a younger age, and then decided I was going to become what I wanted to become. You feel me? So, but yeah, no, like when you off that shit, like it's hard to put. Sometimes you feel like you want to talk, but sometimes it's hard to put words together or come from a place of self. So being a rapper, and this is an early state of it again before I really turned up, but I say as a joke in that Thumb Nugget Trip God song, like the #1 rapper with no ego, like being a joke about ego death, like how is you even about to do this type of career,
right?
And be tripping to where you like you either love everyone or you paranoid, you don't want to be around no one, like so. But like putting in the grind, it don't make no sense. But we really tried to do it anyway, and it really don't work. You know what I'm saying? You really can't be fucking handshaking, you know what I'm saying, networking, doing all that type of shit.
That's wild you said that.
And be high on psychedelics because it's going to make you too real. So I spent a whole period of time where I literally was too real to even damn near network. So the people,
That's true. Like the few times we did meet back then, it was a little, like, your shyness was definitely showing a lot more. Like definitely just like, all right, I'm just gonna I'm guard myself from your energy type type feeling sometimes.
Oh, well, yeah, I wouldn't even say, like I said, that was pre so much shit. Like,
Right.
I
Oh,
wouldn't
no,
even judge it based.
Definitely.
I mean, more like it was a point where I was far from shy and, you know what I'm saying, far from, I was super confident and shit in the later time before I went to jail. Like, and I'd say like the bad drugs and the alcohol and shit also played an impact on me not being able to, you feel me? Like, I just remember like fucking... There was a period of like a lot of blacking out at shows, a lot of like, and I felt like I was doing it in the name of like punk rock or like this and that, or not being, but
the art form and everything, like living a lifestyle.
But at the end of the day, like I loved the show. I did my first show out since I got out. You feel me? And I was present. You know what I'm saying? I was mentally present. I was 100% sober, and I lit that bitch up. Everything from the melodic type shit you talking about at the end to the mosh pit shit, you feel me? It was going off, and I made people feel me because I knew I had stopped doing rap shows for a while. I was doing the band shit, and you know I was just self-funding. You know what I'm saying? Doing what I was doing on the side, putting that back into being able to be a fucking psychedelic punk rock band in 2017. Because don't nobody really want to hear that shit, like. But
it's a grind. It's a grind
setting up the equipment. I mean, I don't mean don't nobody want to hear that shit, but I'm saying like we found a better response playing like rap shows, like, you know, like we went down to South by Southwest and like opened for Chapo, and like that crowd gave us a better response than doing a punk rock show, because the shit done become so like hip hop is the new rock music. Rappers are, you have to, if you want to be a real rock, if you want to be a real rock star in 2019, you got to be a rapper. I think it's Kanye who said that, like, but that's just like the fact of it. Rock has become a washed up imitation of, except for a few, like very few exceptions, but I'm saying most of the time you get cases of bands like
the stardom of rock stars. Yeah.
Or, I mean, you get just cases of bands as imitation, as algorithm music. You get Greta Van Fleet sounding exactly like Led Zeppelin, and they sell millions of records, or at least register as that on SoundScan because it's algorithmic. You feel me? That gets put in playlists with classic rock, whatever the fuck.
Right.
But they just an imitation. They're not embodying what that time period in culture was like. You feel me? It's a fashion statement. People think if I wear this, blah, 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 I'm a rock star. But if you think about it, like rock stars got fucking knocked by the CIA. Rock stars got fucking, you know, it's like shit that was going on when culture was actually progressing toward a new direction. You feel me? That you don't really see going on that day, except in rappers. You know, like rappers have legal situations, or outspoken, or getting, you know,
pushing the boundaries of certain shows and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
What current artists are you listening to? Like, as in, like, who are you on the mainstream waves? Are you listening to like the Travis Scotts and the Drakes, and is that even on your radar?
Man, well, I had to listen to that shit in jail because we had radios,
right.
And you know, so it would be shit that I appreciate about like Travis Scott, who's obviously like psychedelically influenced for a long time and was a big part. And was a big part even before he was credited to like Kanye's sound in going in that direction. And so, you know, anyone from that trio, like Kid Cudi, Kanye, and Travis Scott. But Travis Scott be like the most like surface level, like lyrical content out of all the. Not even, he got some shit, but point being, like in jail sometimes, like that would be like, at least until it was overplayed, like I did used to love like the organ at the beginning of Sicko Mode going into like that first beat, you feel me? Because it would just be like, it did the brainwaves a little better than just the most generic industry shit. But like now that I'm just like free and have like, you know, access to shit that got 20,000, 30,000 views on it, like I'm fucking with that. I mean, I don't know. I listen to like Max O'Cream. Like,
shout out to Max O'Cream. Hell yeah, dope shit.
I don't know. I like underground shit, bro, for real. Like,
I've been listening to this guy, Shorty lately. He got a song called "Bitchery." It's been taking off. Like, he's from Baltimore. It's pretty dope. I like it. If you would check it out, it's dope. We talked about it off air too. Joe Rogan. The Joe Rogan effect. He kind of helped me get comfortable with my trip experiences as well. His discussions about it and everything. And like I've been on research of sorts to learn more about DMT. Your experiences, without incriminating anything, your experiences with it, and the visual. Like, I know you can't remember it. Everybody say you can't really remember, but just the experience of DMT and all that, like.
Man, so it's like the type of thing that some people, you get out of it what you put into it to an extent. Like if you go past a certain point with any psychedelics, then it's really, you could wonder how much of your mind and your consciousness is truly at the wheel. That's when you start to feel like it's the spirits and something greater at the wheel. But DMT at like smaller levels, like if you're smoking out of a bowl with weed, you know what I'm saying? You're still steering that experience. Like, the music that you play and the setting can still affect it, but setting affects DMT less, because once you actually blast off and you're in that spirit realm, like it don't really matter what you're at, where you're at, but
that's some shit right there.
But that's what I'm saying. That's like but still like, so I was gonna say, like, when I was younger, my first couple experiences with it that were spread out, because I ain't have access to it. It would just be at festivals.
It's very hard to get.
Those were such like breakthrough, like change my life, put me on a new path type experiences. But I was also treating it like that. You feel me? I would mentally prepare all day, and you know what I'm saying, set a blanket out, do shit like that. By the time I was GoldFaceMoneyWatch and really like my lifestyle, you know what I'm saying, rock star shit, it was so available, you feel me, that's just going in every blunt, you feel me? And I remember times I get upset. Like I remember like one time like looking at Mondo, like, cause he thought, like, we was using it casually, but it's like he thought he ain't even have to say nothing this one time. And I like had been spun out from so many things the past that week that it's just like, all right, bro, like I thought I was about to hit just some weed. Like I ain't trying to go there again. And that's the thing is with the spirits, with any psychedelics, is when you knock at the door, like, they gonna answer, but like a human, like, if you keep knocking at someone's door, they gonna start to get annoyed at you, or they gonna show you something. They gonna be like, what's up for real? So it's like them first honeymoon trips, you know what I'm saying? They always gonna be good. They always gonna be good. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna make you think of shit that you ain't never thought about before. But you're not really, they're saying like Eastern religion and philosophy that you're supposed to be able to get to that mental space without drugs. So once it shows you all this shit and it shows you how beautiful life can be and how we're all connected in the same thing, it's like if somebody says like you get the message, hang up the phone, but I don't believe that, you feel me? And I'm still, like I ain't on no like fully, I think that psychedelics, we don't live in the mountains in Tibet, you feel me? We don't have the privilege to spend a whole lifetime training as a monk to put our minds there. So I think that psychedelics are very necessary.
A little booster, a little stool up there, a little ladder.
But regardless, you feel me, to just use them frequently, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have bad trips. And that's why I say I'm Mr. Bad Trip, because I almost embraced the bad trip after a certain point. So it's like, it's like with the DMT, you feel me, like there's dark spirits in that realm too. And that's probably what you hear Joe Rogan talk about a lot, is like the separate intelligent entities, like, because they say everybody sees the same things, everybody sees elves or this or that, like, so it's like
shapes,
if everybody, then it's obviously not somebody's imagination. Obviously it's actually a realm that's out there that's allowing us a portal into that realm. But with that said, just like any realm, it's going to be the good and the bad. So I've had as much, beautiful skies clearing and beautiful geometric patterns as I've seen like just hellfire and fucking not I know Judeo-Christian shit, but just weird, like
just
kind of more
Egyptian
darker demonic vibes for sure. Like
that's it. That's
your first time, were you terrified or no?
Was I scared to do it? No, I was in a real good place. Okay. I was in a real good place.
No, I mean like when you had your first bad trip.
On my first
bad trip. Ooh, can you remember?
I've never like. All right, when I say bad trip, I mean like, going to a place where it is not that beautiful, bubbly, like everything, you know. So it's really been like
anxiety type place.
Yeah, so it's never been. I've never been that with myself. Like, you know, some people, you know, I've been around bad trips, you know, and that shit get real, you know, because, you know, it ain't no shit to play with. You feel me? And like, you definitely not having a good trip if you're bro having a bad trip or something like that.
Right.
You know, I done sent 2 of my friends to the medical tent, you know, at a festival one time because they was talking. I ain't gonna put them out. I ain't gonna put it on blast like that.
It got
like,
heavy. It got heavy.
That shit, like, with that, I mean, that was a stupid amount. That was something like 15, 20 doses. So they some troopers. They dared me.
What's the most you took?
And I dared them.
In like one.
You can't gauge that because shit tolerance be so crazy with that shit and frequency of usage and shit. So it was like at the point right before I went to jail, bro, I was eating like 25 hits, you know, just to barely get visuals. Like,
really?
You know, because my mentality was just permanent. And if you listen to that GFMW3 project, which is on my SoundCloud, like that's the last thing I dropped. I dropped it on my birthday, 2 days before I went to jail, you know what I'm saying? And it's dark to me, you know what I'm saying? Like what you said, it sound probably purposely underground grit, like, but it's like I was peaking in my like rock starness at that point, but it was like, but with no upward climb in like my actual music career.
Right. It was just the rock star
because of the shit, being who I was allowed me to live a lifestyle and tap into all the vices as if I was signed to a major label. You feel me? It's like I literally
have all the benefits without
all the benefits, but it's like my music. I ain't did shit for my music though. Like you feel me? But so I was high, man. I don't want to.
It's a wild concept.
I don't want to glorify it, but like you know what I'm saying. I was doing the good drugs and the bad drugs. I was on everything all at once, days at a time. Like. It got to that point to where it's like, can't nobody tell me nothing about, you know, that's why I know I'm here for a reason right now. That's why I don't need drugs right now. It's because I lived. A lot of people don't live. I was off mixtures, you feel me, just psychedelics aside, you feel me, you know, just chemical mixtures that.
So actually going to jail kind of helped you out then?
Oh, yeah, in a lot of ways. You know, that's God. Like nothing in God's world is by mistake. That's why they teach you. That's what they teach you in AA and shit. You feel me? But, like a lot of people, you know, the underground rap community like lost a lot of people in that in the past couple of years. You feel me? And so
you was gone actually. Yeah. A lot of people were passing
and nine times out of 10, you feel me, it wasn't no, like to me, and what a lot of people get into, like, I don't even want to say recovery because I don't like the AA jargon or make it about something, but there's some good shit. We had to do AA in jail, like, and it was like, it's some good things in it, and you know, but what a lot of people say is like comparison and shit. So to me, I was always like, I don't use needles, I'm not a junkie, you feel me, like. And you know that like over ODing and dying, all that type of shit, like that's people that go hard like that. Like isn't that lifestyle. And I had been around my share of that in time, but it's never been in my circle like that.
All right.
You feel me? Except I did lose my best friend to that like a couple months before I went to jail. RIP 16 felonies. But
sorry to hear that, man.
But for the most part it's not really in my circle, and but what I realized is that it don't take that. Like, you know, it could be just alcohol and one drug. You feel me? It's just like when you put in, and people fried out, like, you know what I'm saying? Motherfucker, like, you could, you know, so it's like, I knew I was here for the fact that I'm getting a second chance.
Right.
And then I felt like while I was in jail, you know, sometimes that helps people's careers. So I entertained myself with the illusion for like the first couple months that maybe my shit'll pick up some momentum, take off while I'm in jail. But it wasn't until a couple months in when my head started clearing up that I realized that I ain't made the music that I done left a story and left an impact on this earth so far. But once I started writing the shit, I started writing there clear-headed where I could actually reflect on my life and put it into words better and shit. It's like, this is the shit I'm supposed to leave my mark on this earth with. So like that shit would be shitty if my music up to this point just took off and did something more than what it's doing right now, because I want that to happen with the next shit.
Right. And the next shit is gonna be great because now you have content. You have a story to tell. You have a life you can a whole life you can touch on and continue living on in a different way. Like it's low-key a beautiful story, man. This is a dope story. Is there a album coming? Is it just
yeah, that's like, you know, Mr. Bad Trip was originally intended to be like some you know, I wanted to, because once I got out, see, in jail, I wrote, like I said, melodically, because all you could do is like beat on your chest. And so like, I didn't want to just like low mumble rap on that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had to actually sing to communicate more of a song. I had to be like, she's a rock star chick. Ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I used to walk laps trying to picture how the songs were going to sound in my head all day. Like, but,
did he get you back to almost a basis of your music?
Yeah. Because it's like you have to really picture it in your head and put your musical brain to work and shit. And it turned me up as a performer, because the type of people you rapping for in jail and shit, you feel me? They don't have no reason to want to fuck with you.
Right.
Like, you feel me? But at the same time, people want to be entertained and cheered up and take their mind off their situation. So they is willing to fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes, so you'll get people walk up to you like, yo, I hear you rap, like, spit, son. You feel me? And they're ready to hate for real, but at the same time, they're equally ready to be entertained and fuck with it.
Right, because they ain't trying to be upset. Like,
right.
If it's good, it's good. You can't fight good music. Yeah.
Exactly. And if anything, it'll like take their mind. So I learned how to beat on my chest. I wasn't doing that before I went in there. You feel me? Beating and rapping at the same time. Like, but so those were their own batch of songs, and not many of them are out. Rockstar Chick and Nightmare, I dropped them as singles when like a month after I had been out, and those were songs I wrote in jail. The title track, Mr. Bad Trip, is a song. Mr. Bad Trip is a song I wrote in jail. But other than that, I've been cuffing that music because I've been wanting to get back in my groove and, you know, warm up my platform, you feel me, just get buzzing in people's
your face back out there.
Yeah, and treat it like a new artist. So Mr. Bad Trip, besides the title track, was more in that sense. And once I got back around my production with the distorted 808s and shit like that, it was like, dun, you know what I'm saying? It made me want to rap a certain way that I wasn't rapping in there. So I put that shit out, and there's gonna be a couple more things in between, like on the sound.
You got a lot of groups you can like dip into and get your name back out there. Again, you set a very dope legacy to make a step right back in, do the features with those top people that are popping right now. So there's no rush from your fan base for an album. I'll tell you that. Like take your time with it. Like definitely we can understand how focused you want to be for the
right. But it's come. A lot of the songs is recorded, like a lot of the album shit, but my main shit just be how I'm gonna drop it. You feel me? And just because I'm actually that's what my sober mind been like, more toward those things for the first time in a while, because I ain't used to give a fuck about that, and I used to have money other ways, so I wasn't worried about making money from music. But now it's like, I ain't finna play with these people. I ain't trying to go back to jail. You feel me? I'm trying to go legit. So it makes me think about my music, treat it more of a asset, to where it's like, you know, with those particular batch of songs that I could hear that spiritual potential in. Like, I just wanna, I'm gonna know when the time is right, but it's coming in the next couple months. But so I got a project. Yeah, so I got a shout out. I got a little SoundCloud project of bangers though, dropping with my bro 100 Band Zan and a couple. Yeah. And that's gonna be some straight, pretty much to the point, all high energy, like SoundCloud shit, and that's just some more shit to just keep it bud while I work on finishing my album that has just so much like guitar playing and just different genres on it. So
album vibes.
But yeah, so. You was talking about the psychedelic experience and shit though too. No, go ahead back. Like
I forgot now what I was talking about. But here's a interesting topic that's current in our community. shrooms or a psilocybin
Psilocybin.
is very close in Colorado and Oregon to being
Legal.
legalized.
Yeah.
Is
Shout out
that
to
is that like, because like for people in the weed industry, it's kind of like a not a slap in the face at this time, but it's a little like, oh, it's hard to get a foot in the door. As a pioneer, as you call yourself, is it like, oh, would you want to go into that field and see where it would like transform into, and would you want to?
Oh, like you're saying, like some like the window for people to go legit with weed, happened, and now it's like the game sold up because of legalization.
Right.
So some people don't even like the fact that it's legalized because some rich people have a benefit of.
And it's starting to, and it will come to the psychedelic because it's saying it's a lot of depression and all of it helps depression and a lot of that. So
and that shit is scary in the case of like, I seen that MDMA went into like the next phases of FDA shit, and for me I know they don't retroactively adjust your charges, but just how it looks like, what I'm saying, they perform at like the warehouse party, and they just they on Fairfax and Melrose, where like the No Jumper stores at and all that shit. And all that shit is a dope culture because it's existing without the big wigs of the music industry, but
pushing a button on some kid or something like that.
But like me personally, a combination of how I would act when I was in situations where one thing could have, led me up that ladder, but then just also like, it's just being tripping and all, to where it just, me and bro was searching for something realer out there. So we spent a lot of time kind of just like, really
learning,
really out here in the city, And so we seen aspects of the energy. A lot of people get so brainwashed, you feel me? They think this is some cool shit. Like, I'm in LA with bad bitches, like, you feel me, drinking lean and like, like that shit, just some dope shit. Like, who said that?
It can be fun.
These rooms.
It
no,
can
I'm not
be,
saying that's
but
not,
again, it can get dark as well.
and it's
people
a lot
that show
of
the dark side.
and
of
it's
it.
a lot of dark energy out there that people that have been out there long enough start to tap into. You feel me? And like, they're all in on it, but like, you
talk to the people that come home after
being
in
eaten
LA
up
for a
out
little
there,
while.
like when you're young and shit, yeah. And so but like I said, as far as the extraterrestrial shit, there's a whole culture just in California in general. Like there's a place in middle to northern California called Mount Shasta where supposedly you can gain access to under the earth. You feel me? And there's people out there that believe that you just feed on the sun and you need to go get accepted into like where you can actually live under the earth and where we're from. And that just goes into so many things when you start looking at the alien bloodlines and shit. Like it's like, you start to wonder the origin of who came from what, where, why do certain people act like this or do this and that? And, is there like an original people of the earth? And then there's some people outside, or could two people look exactly the same, but be from different places because they're possessed by different entities?
That sounds like the movie Us. If you haven't seen Us, The Tether is basically two dueling copies of each other. For one from a privileged background, one from that lives under the ground that does everything you do. So it's kind of a wild concept. It's kind of tell me what you're saying and everything.
But yeah, no, exactly. So it's like you start to look at, you wonder like why the world is set up the way it is. And these are the things your mind starts to go to on psychedelics after like I said, after you done knocked at the door and they done answered a bunch of times. Yeah. They done showed you that you could go dance in the field or that you could go be nice and like
and see some cool shit, wavy shit.
See wavy shit, you feel me? Go do some charity or something, like, go do some volunteering. Like it shows you that at first, but you want to keep knocking, they're gonna be like, all right, like you want to know about fucking.
You want to know why the dinosaurs are
yeah, shit like that. You feel me?
You want to know why the dinosaurs are gone, bro? Do you really want to know?
Right.
You want to humble yourself really quickly?
Remember that Atlantis thing you heard about as a kid? Like, you want to know what that really was? Or like, why did you always want to go see like the mummy? Why were you into mummies like when you were a child, like before you knew what Egypt was? Like, I don't know.
That does kind of drive my urge to dive deeper, and that's a whole nother like podcast I'll have and stuff. But it does, like, for more, like, me and Mo have talked about it. He's never done anything, but it's curious to you. It interests you. Like so, like it kind of. I like to tell people because I only done it twice, but like the first time I did 3 hits my first time.
Yeah.
Like I jumped in quickly, and I tell people like the fear leading up to it kind of is the test. It's like knowing you're going into it and you have like you're like, oh, I'm about to enter something that I may not have control of for the next 6 to 8 hours. Are you ready for this? And then you kind of start to tell your mind, like, okay, I'm comfortable in this setting. I'm comfortable with these people around me. I'm comfortable with telling these people that I'm going to do this. I'm comfortable with eating this. I'm comfortable with what I'm wearing. And it kind of gives you a checklist. And when you go into it, it kind of is like, oh, I'm comfortable. I'm good. So when you start to get to the...
well, that's if you choose to take care
Right.
of that setting, which is like what the common teaching and wisdom about the shit for many years was. But that's why I don't fuck with the preachers of setting, you know, because, you know, when shit got real, I feel like they ain't stand up to what I really more into like Hunter S. Thompson, like you've seen like the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, like, but who's equally as cool and needs to be more known about than Hunter S. Thompson is his lawyer in that movie. Like, is you familiar with what I'm talking about? That shit with the red convertible with Johnny Depp, like where they driving.
I've heard of it, but I have never seen it.
Have you
I
seen
wanna
like you
watch
probably
it.
seen
I know
like
you
music
talk about.
video, a lot of
Right.
music videos that based on a day in Las Vegas
It's like
tripping.
old school type of shit.
Yeah, they're kind of old school.
it.
It
It get referenced a lot.
you saw the
yeah.
Lil Wayne No Worries video.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, where they like tripping in the casino. Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
it's like
yeah,
the shit
yeah,
that that's based
okay.
on. But Hunter S. Thompson, he was a journalist for Rolling Stone in the 70s that, you know, in the 60s had been part of like the ideological shit and, you know, thought that he could really run for politics and really change the world and shit, but he didn't get elected and blah, 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 blah. But so come like the early 70s, you know, they go on this journey to Las Vegas. He's getting paid for a job, like to cover some race in Las Vegas, like a horse race or something. And so they're on Rolling Stone's credit card, Jan Wenner's fucking credit card, who's the CEO of Rolling Stone to this day, you feel me? And they're just swiping, you know what I'm saying? Fake names, everything, like picking up, swapping out cars and shit, committing credit card fraud all throughout Las Vegas while on heavy amounts of psychedelics looking for the American dream. But so that's the premise of the book. And I ain't going, but his lawyer that goes with him, who he describes as a 250-pound Samoan, was actually in real life he was like 200 pounds, but his lawyer, he was a Chicano lawyer, you know, who was big on like the La Raza movement in like East Los Angeles, you know, in what's called the Ass Land, which is all the parts of America that used to be Mexico before the Spanish-American War or whatever. And so people, like the people that's natives of those areas, you feel me, they're like the border jumped them, you feel me? So it's a whole culture, they call it the Aztlan, you feel me, of where it's like basically parts of Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, really is just Mexico, you feel me? Like, and so his lawyer though, Hunter S. Thompson was one of his high-profile clients, but his other high-profile clients were big, like, you know, like there was like a Hispanic boxer at the time who was famous, and that he was like a civil rights, you know, lawyer, and he would also take, you know, obviously pro bono cases of like LA gang members and shit like that. But they said about this dude, like Oscar Acosta was his name, and he wrote a book called The Brown Buffalo, like, that this dude would stay up on mescaline and acid, you know, with fucking, you know, gang, you feel me, in LA, around a bunch of, you know what I'm saying, crazy shit all day, every day in East LA, fucking throw a Molotov cocktail through a judge's window, like drunk and tripping,
Jeez.
and then show up in court in a suit, fucking sweating, but to argue for a fucking woman that wasn't getting, a Hispanic woman not getting proper representation like the next day.
And this is
And he was
a
real
side
person.
movie, or
it's not a movie. This was this
the
man's
person.
real life.
but he's in the movie.
He's in the movie.
So he doesn't have his own movie.
No, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, he don't have his own. That sounds fire. That's what I'm saying. It makes you want to but his book is called Brown Buffalo.
Yeah, like the
Okay.
tale of or
Okay.
something, you know.
Okay.
But and he disappeared. He was either murdered or faked his own. But in Sinaloa, you feel me? Which you know, that's where a lot of crazy shit go. But he disappeared in Sinaloa, Mexico around like 1972, 73, around the time that Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas was about to come out. But Hunter S. Thompson is also an amazing person that's worth knowing. But point being, Dave was both into tripping and taking it to the edge and trying to discover some truths about America. And one of Hunter S. Thompson's words was like, America is a land of plenty of opportunity, but for only for those with true grit. Like, you could sit in your home in front of your microwave and TV and just get dicked by America, you feel me? Or, you know, you could literally take this capitalist system and go commit fraud and fucking have a crazy time and like try to search for something. But while still, like, you can use all this technology, like, this shit is not inherently brainwashing or inherently like,
but it's how you use it.
It's how you use it. Like, that shit, like, iPhones are dope. Steve Jobs tripped, you feel me? Like, all that shit. The thing Steve Jobs fought hardest for that really affected, I feel like, the most people that like, everybody says the iPhone, but what's also crazy is how hard he went to get music and video editing software pre-installed on all his products. Like, think of how many people got their starts with iMovie and GarageBand and shit. You feel me?
Deep.
Windows wasn't doing that. Like, Steve Jobs really
used a lot of that stuff sometimes. Like, just on some quick shit. Let me just especially in this. And
that shit is already on your iPhone or your MacBook or anything when you get it. And he fought for that shit. They originally, computers was looked at to be like fucking word processors for offices and shit. People weren't thinking about the artists and shit. So I think that's one of his biggest impacts.
Shout out to Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
The way we like to wrap up this show is we like to go around and say what we're reading, watching, or listening to. We've talked a lot about books and everything, but this is just something to give the people some homework to go home with and everything. We're gonna start with Maul. So you can tell you what are you reading, watching, or listening to today?
Currently watching The Challenge.
The MTV Challenge, Real Challenge.
Yeah,
hey, it's back.
Yes, it is. Listening to.
Hold on, what's the challenge called? Is it Bad Blood 4? What is it?
Something about war, something, I don't know. I just know it's UK versus a lot of US.
American Invasion or something like that, or UK Invasion. All right,
from the UK on it. That's about it. Listening to a little bit of spectrum of music. I don't really have nothing specific. You know, not reading too much right now, but go ahead.
All right. I am currently watching Home Improvement. I'm rewatching Home Improvement, and all I can say about that is I would love to see a supercut of just the Tool Time parts. All of just Tool Time, him and Al, instead of Tim going home and being the father and all that. I just want to see Tool Time. I think Tool Time was the best part of that show. Besides that, Al was kind of a sexist. It was a little sexist in that show. And like in this climb, I'm looking like, you can't. Tim. I'm sorry, Tim.
No,
Tim. I'm sorry, Tim. Al was just a shy guy. He asked the chick to marry him before they even hooked up. So that was just a wild episode. Anyway, I'm not reading anything currently. Music-wise, I am bumping Shorty still. I also, Emotional Oranges. I don't know if y'all hip to Emotional Oranges. They have some new stuff out right now. That's been vibing me. But that's about it. Go to Face Money Watch. What are you reading, watching, or listening to lately, sir?
All right. Well, I mean, listening and watching, you feel me? You know, I got to just use this as plug time. Like, go subscribe to the Low Number YouTube channel. We're putting out content. In 2019, we're putting out content every couple of days, constantly. In this case, multiple times a day during Bad Trip TV. But, you know, everybody in the Low Number family, if you search that term, you know, and just do your research into our psychedelic hip hop community, there's a lot of content that is going to continue.
It will take a time of tripping to get through all of it. It's so much good content. You can take your whole trip and still have some stuff to go through. So it's dope stuff.
And there's more coming. I'm working on backlogging a lot of classic projects from the Low Number family too. At the same time, ones that, you know, over time disappeared off of Spotify. Like, you know, the Worms my band had an album that it's still on SoundCloud and stuff. But we're just doing a lot of cataloging along with all the new content, just so people can know that interest in history and how it impacted culture in, you know, our city and just beyond.
Especially because there are so many different names.
Different.
They could have heard of
so
y'all
many,
and then not know it's y'all at all. So it's like, yeah, I love them, and then be talking right to y'all and not know. So like, it's good to get the back catalog going and everything.
Yeah, and if I even start listing names, I'm gonna forget something and just be upset. So it's just like all I can say is just look into that umbrella on YouTube and everywhere else.
Deep hole pause. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Not
goes.
the pause.
It's dope stuff there. I truly tell y'all, we don't really stamp a lot, but like we really like the first moment we heard y'all. Like I think it was like 2-9 came out. It was y'all. And like we were just starting to get into our bag as what we wanted to be as a group and how we wanted to shape and shape everything.
Well, thank you for the feature.
And the feature is one of the only features we ever asked for real. Like that was a feature that we went out and really wanted to get and wanted to do because it's a lot of like me. I'm a marketing person. I went to school for marketing and all that shit. So
and that's a dope song too because it got it just got a lot of precursors. That's a early, but that's a fire GoldFaceMoneyWatch verse. But that's really like one of the, you know what I'm saying? And that beat, you could just hear
it's going.
the concept of that
First time
sound.
I heard
It's got the Believe ad lib in it before his like, that
It
was
was good, man. It was.
And I'm sure when y'all do the edits, y'all could probably play a clip of it.
Oh yeah.
And I'll also play a clip of some of my new music. Yeah.
So much music.
But and then the last thing I wanted to say, as far as reading though, like the books that I do want to plug, like that I feel like y'all should know about too is like the Carlos Castaneda books. Carlos Castaneda was a dude that he studied. A lot of people have heard the term Don Juan, but he studied under a Yaqui Indian, which is like Mexican but not of Spanish, like Spain descent, like truly like the Indian people of that area that have used psychedelics all throughout their culture for thousands of years and combined it with magic and sorcery and stuff like that. And so this is an American dude, but he was some type of Hispanic. He was fluent in Spanish, but he literally took on, and this is in real life, he took on an apprenticeship with this Mexican sorcerer named Don Juan, And the first two books focus on the use of psychedelics because he didn't believe in the magic part at first. He just wanted to find out about peyote and psilocybin and these plants and how these cultures have used it, for years. But he had to take on the apprenticeship. By the third, fourth, fifth books, he ain't even really looking at the drugs as consequential. He just tapped in, period. Like, you know what I'm saying, to the forces of this earth. And you read this shit and you're like, all this shit makes sense. All this shit is... But so the Carlos Castaneda books, like the Don
thank you
Juan
for that
books,
one. I might have to really dive in.
I just listened to the audiobooks.
I was just about to say that. I might have to get the audiobook for that one. That might need to.
I read them in jail, but since I've been out, I still fall asleep to them.
Yeah. Shout out to audible.com for if you want to find any other good books out there. Sir, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for this, man. This is super dope. I hope people really enjoyed this interview. I hope we covered
y'all
it.
were great.
We got to cover enough. It can always be a part two. No, you still on the mic. You don't even know. Yeah, it's still outro. It's still outro.
Yeah.
I hope we got to cover enough. Like a part two will be super dope to have with the crew as well because it's just again so much history. I do consider you a part of a Cleveland Legends bracket, Mount Rushmore, whatever you want to call it, because again, you did trend set you were the first one I heard about trapping shrooms. like you were the first one rapping about trapping shrooms, bro. It's like getting up a whole thing.